Hey, it's Marzi. I wanted to check in because I wanted to kind of talk about something that I think a lot of us experience and don't necessarily articulate or know how to articulate. So, for me, everything's been so much better, and it still is so much better, but that doesn't mean I don't have bad days. Physically, I am in a position where I'm probably, I don't really like saying this out loud, but I'm worse than I've ever been. But psychologically, I'm in a better place than I've ever been. That said, it takes work and it takes monitoring, and I have to be sort of self-aware, and I have to, stay on top of myself. And like today, I'm catching myself cussing. It's ridiculous. Cussing out inanimate objects. I just get like, it's just like having a tanty over things, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you yelling? It does happen when I go on withdrawal, so that could be part of it. I did have my meds late, so that could be part of it. It could be part of my withdrawal, because in hospital I caught myself like throwing my walker around. It just was like, oh my god, you're a toddler. It's so embarrassing. I don't mean literally throwing my walker around. That's not probably physically possible at this stage, but I was pushing my walker and kind of slammed it into the wall, and yeah, I was like, hang on, what's going on here? So I sort of had to do a check-in with myself. Anyway, I don't know if a lot of you know, I mean, a lot of you who are sick are going to understand this, but there's a condition called Pyroluria, and it's one that is created by, it's supposedly genetic, and I guess it is genetic, but what it causes is if you are unable to absorb zinc, and I want to say one of the B vitamins, because I can't trust my memory as to what it is exactly. I know it's zinc, and I know it's a B vitamin. I'm not sure which one. B6 maybe, but I'm still guessing. And what happens is when I've reversed it, so I've like been able to totally reverse the effects of it, and not have to take my compounded capsules for it. But that was when I was eating really well and conscious of every meal, and I was getting everything from my diet that I needed, which is meant to be impossible. So like, supposedly if you've got it, you've got it, that's it, but that wasn't true for me. I was able to totally change its impact on me. And I'm finding, so let's see, so it was like perhaps Tuesday I did a chemist order, and it's my first order. That was after everyone donated, well, the people who donated, and it was enough to get me groceries, but I had to choose between groceries and meds. I couldn't have both. And I thought feeding Mum and I, especially with everyone's frantic buying of stuff, I didn't buy extra toilet paper or anything unnecessary, despite the fact that I probably am one of those people that needs it. But yeah, it's crazy how like doing just not even a huge shop kind of easily gets to over $200, especially online. And then my meds were $300, and I could only afford to pay, well, I had to put it all on my interest-free card, which I never touch. I just don't use that card. Like, I just basically, I say I don't have a credit card. I've got a debit card. That card's for things I need, like my bed and things like that. Not groceries, but or meds. But then I thought, you know what, you do need meds, so I put $300 worth of medication on my card, and then I immediately paid off $100 out of what was left. So I used up all the donated funds, and I just put it that $100 straight onto the card. Anyway, it still left me with a Telstra bill, and it still left me obviously owing money on the interest-free card, but I was happy. But what happened was, when I rang the chemist, I discovered that my chemist, who's a lovely guy who knew Dad, and I think this is part of what kind of tripped me up, is that Dad used to go into the chemist, and he is notoriously known for being charming and making connections, like profound connections, really fast. He was very similar to me, and probably why we clashed a lot. I am really good at reading people. I go off energy, and I can quickly sense when someone's in pain or anything like that, you know, and I tend to respond in a compassionate way, and Dad was good at doing that, and then he'd come home exhausted and have nothing sort of left in terms of supporting us emotionally, you know. Anyway, Dad had become really good friends with the chemist, and he is the loveliest man. And since Dad died, the chemist had changed hands twice. So 2 different companies have bought it, or maybe one company has changed their name. I'm not really sure, but it's a chain now. And I've just always felt like the chemist wasn't as happy as he used to be when it was like his chemist, if that makes sense. So when I rang to make my order, because I order over the phone generally and then they deliver, I found out he was not there. And not only was he not there, but he'd left, and they didn't know, like he's gone on a break and they don't know where he's going to work. And I just was immediately distraught. Now, to be fair to myself, I have PTSD around Dad's death, and so stuff that's related to kind of anything to do with Dad and anything to do with losing connections to Dad distresses me greatly, because this chemist is someone who knew my father in person and had many dealings with him and understood me and my... Yeah, it just feels like something's pulled out from under you. And so I found myself crying, which I just haven't been doing. And look, there's nothing wrong with crying. We all need to cry. It's just, it felt like a disproportionate somewhat reaction. Although, to be fair, all the staff have been crying. So maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's fine. But what it did is, and I'm trying to like be hyper aware of my behaviour, because how I behave and how it impacts me, it really does change my healing. And I don't want anyone to hear me in any way other than I mean. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying stress makes you sick, but I'm saying stress makes you sicker. So I'm already at highest level of sort of suffering I've ever experienced, but psychologically really great. So that's helping me just cruising through this kind of really hard time. And then I get just knocked off balance, just like majorly knocked off balance. And I found that my nervous system just went out of whack. And then I've got the skin crawling and the muscle twitching and the constant discomfort and the mucking around with my clothes, and I can't get comfortable and everything hurts and my pain is like amplified, and I'm mucking up my med times, and then I got insomnia, I couldn't sleep properly, and then the next day, so Wednesday was terrible, and then today I'm still not okay, and I'm still better than I've been in the past, and I'm not going to take anything away from that sort of major shift and step that I've taken. But I want to sort of say that we need to be hyper aware of how we process stuff, and sometimes we can't help how we process stuff. It is what it is, and we're going to have sad stuff happen, and it's going to knock us off kilter. And this may seem like a really silly thing to get upset about, but for someone who's really isolated, to have one of the few contacts in my life taken from me, someone I had a relationship with who was a friend of mine, who was a friend to my father, and I'm very sentimental, sort of taken from me, really knocked me off balance. And what it did is made me very aware of how much care I have to take of myself and how much I need to be aware of my reactions. And if I'm feeling that sort of vulnerable place, then I need to be doing extra self-care that day, and not allowing myself to consume anything that would agitate or upset me, and not allow myself to sort of interact with anyone that's agitating or upsetting me or setting me off for some reason, and just sort of, you know, breathe through it, and also not judge myself, because judging myself is not helping. But it's also made me aware of the fact that I'm definitely still having Pyroluria issues, and that my capsule's about to run out. So I don't want them to, because I think I don't like this feeling, and I can't control everything. But one thing I can control is making sure that I'm on the supplements I need to be on. So that's something I kind of needed to put forward to you, because although I need financial support in terms of the Telstra bill and paying off the rest of the chemist on my card, and I do have a chemist bill, and there's all these other bills I have, like my care organisation, all these things. But my main priority in this very moment, and like, oh God, I have specialists, all these other things, I could go on and on and on. But my main priority at this moment is self-care, because I feel like that one crucial thing, that self-care thing, keeps me positive. And I do feel that still inside myself. I still feel strong and joyous and happy and quick to laugh and all of that. But I can feel the otherness of the Pyrroluria. It is like having the worst premenstrual tension. It is a feeling that overtakes you, and you are feeling things that you are like, hang on, that doesn't belong to me. That's not my feeling. I don't feel that way. And yet still you are reacting as though it's your feeling. And so it's really common in people with mental illness, and it's really common in the community of people with chronic illness, because we often just have stuff off balance. So yeah, I guess I'm just asking if you can. I know that, you know, some of you have donated, but those of you who haven't, anyone that can, who hasn't, would you mind donating, please? Because I really do need to buy these supplements, and the two that I need the most is DHEA, which is the youth hormone, which for some reason my brain or body, I don't produce it. Even in my 20s, I wasn't producing it. I don't know if that's got something to do with the fact that my grey matter has decreased, and I'm like 25. Well, I'm not. I am still the same age, but my brain is 25 years past my bio age, because my grey matter's shrunk, like it would as though I was, you know, 20 to 25 years older. But I definitely need the Pyrroluria capsules as well, and they're both compounded to my specific need and my deficiency, and they cost about $250 for the two of them. So again, thank you for supporting me, and I hope that that's helpful. And if you haven't been tested for Pyrroluria, Safe Plus Health Plus Foods down the Gold Coast can do a Pyrroluria test for you, and it is something that massively boosts your sanity. You'll be so surprised by the way you feel. In my worst times of like having Pyrroluria and having to go without the capsules for not having the funds to buy them, after 2 weeks I would be suicidal. So I feel like I'm not that bad, but I am in that place again where I really do need them. So yeah, I'm going to put a link to Safe Plus Health Plus Foods underneath the video, so that if you want to get tested, if you have a specialist GP, they should know about this. It's just a urine test. It's really simple, and you should be able to get a compounded medication script. If not, Safe Plus Health Plus Foods down the Gold Coast will test for you, and you just have to contact them, and they will help you. They are lovely and wonderful humans. So yeah, alright, if you can support me, see below. If you can't support me financially, your love, your prayers, your healing vibes, your all that good stuff you send my way just lifts me up, and I just love you so much. Love you wildly. Bye.